Diddy Kong was really good in Smash 4. He's really fast, having great mobility and frame data. He has a solid combo game with strong combo starters and KO confirms. And he has a great projectile game with his banana being a very powerful tool. Diddy Kong in general is simply a very versatile character who can effectively play both offensively and defensively, due to his excellent attributes and overall moveset. Diddy Kong was typically seen as a top 5 character in the later stage of Smash 4's life, but of course, Smash 4 was a game which received patches. In earlier versions of Smash 4, Diddy Kong was an absolute monster. He was quite a bit better than he is now, and he was a clear top 2 character in the earliest Wii U versions. Aside from these two nightmares not being in the game yet, there were quite a few things about Diddy that were different back then, but I'm not going into all of those things now. Maybe another time. I'm just going to focus on a single move which was changed quite significantly, and that move is Diddy's up air. And just for reference, yellow Diddy is representing current Smash 4 while normal Diddy is representing vanilla Smash 4. Let's start off by explaining what up air is like in the final version of Smash 4. Diddy Kong flings his foot upwards. The move comes out pretty quickly on frame 4, with the move hitting both in front and above Diddy with solid range. The move has a moderate amount of ending lag with 38 total frames and has 21 frames of landing lag, which is fairly high. This means that the move is not a highly reliable combo tool, but it can combo in the right scenarios, in addition to not being the safest move either. The move starts auto-cancelling on frame 27, which does give the move a fairly lenient auto-cancel window, with up air auto-cancelling in a short hop fastfall for example, although you can't use the auto-cancel to give the move less lag than landing with it as late as possible. The move deals 6% and launches opponents up and away. The move has high knockback at lower percents, although the move's knockback does not scale a ton. The move KOs Mario at 215% on the ground and final destination with no DI, which is not great, although it does KO significantly earlier when used near the upper blast zone. The main uses up air has are as a follow-up or as a juggling tool. Up air's fast speed and good range make it a really solid tool to catch opponents in the air. If Diddy catches an opponent in the air with his up air, he can potentially juggle them for quite some time by utilising his up air well. Diddy had a multitude of ways to combo into an up air, although his main setups were with his up and down throws, both of which are throws with very low ending lag and overall excellent combo potential. These throws could both lead into an up air for a very long time, and they could even lead into KO confirms on platforms at the right percents. Up air in general could lead to KOs if the opponent is close enough to the upper blast zone at high enough percents, especially if Diddy had rage, which boosted up air's KO potential a good bit. Up air overall is a pretty good move in Diddy's kit, being a fast move with good range. It is a very solid combo and juggling tool, with the move being versatile and effective. It isn't very damaging or strong. It is relatively laggy, being unsafe on landing, and it typically will not KO outside of the right scenarios. But the move is still overall a very useful and solid tool in Diddy's kit. And that is what Diddy Kong's up air is like in the current versions of Smash 4. It's quite good, but it's nothing crazy. That was not the case in earlier versions of the game, however. In the earlier versions of Smash 4, and especially in the earlier Wii U versions, Diddy Kong's up air was a completely different beast, being a much more potent move. Why was that?
That's why I'm here.
The first thing which was better about up air in earlier versions of the game was that it was faster. The move comes out on frame 4 in the final game, which is pretty fast. In earlier versions of the game, however, the move came out on frame 3.
Yes.
Diddy Kong's up air came out faster than every other up air in the game.
I'm the fastest in the land!
You might be thinking, but that's only 1 frame faster. That's not a significant difference, right? This actually made a rather big difference for a reason I will explain now. This is the move's first active frame in the final version of the game. As you can see, the hitbox starts at a slightly upwards angle.
Alright. I said, alright.
Back when the move was frame 3, however, the hitbox started here.
Yes!
Diddy Kong's up air used to hit below him. As a practical example to show this off, if I try and hit Mario with a full hop up air in the final game, it just won't hit him at all. It just completely whiffs. If I try this in vanilla, however, it hits Mario super easily with quite a few frames of leniency. And it doesn't stop there. Short hop up air completely whiffs against shorter characters in the final.
Bruh.
In vanilla, it consistently hits even the shortest characters crouching.
Bruh.
You could even hit characters on the ledge in vanilla with an on-stage up air. You could 2-frame with an on-stage up air in vanilla. I don't think I need to tell you that this doesn't work in the final game. This has a ton of implications, but let's talk about one of the main ones. A weakness Diddy Kong has in the final game is that he doesn't really have a good aerial to escape juggles. He has Nair and Dare, but they are both on the slower side and have other downsides as well. In vanilla, however, Diddy also had up air. As up air was a super fast aerial which hit below him, it was actually really good at getting him out of disadvantage. Diddy Kong could use his up air as a really fast combo breaker, which in the right scenarios could allow him to start comboing his opponent, or it could just outright kill the opponent. Foreshadowing. This was legitimately one of the best arrows in the game to escape combos due to how fast and how low it hit. In addition to how strong it hit, more foreshadowing. The only real downside the move had in this area is that it only hit in front of Diddy at the start of its duration, but even still, the move was something you were fearful of whenever you were juggling Diddy Kong because one wrong move and your advantage becomes his advantage. In the final game, the move does not hit below Diddy Kong, meaning that it usually cannot really be used as a combo breaker. I've gone on and on about how the move being one frame faster made the move so much better, and it had even more applications than I mentioned. But there's still more to talk about, so I'm going to move on for now. Not only did the move have less startup lag, but it also had 3 frames less ending lag. In the final game, you can only do 1 up air in a short hop, but in vanilla, you could do 2. The main benefit this lower ending lag has was that it made up air a better combo tool. Up air can combo in the final game, but is overall not a great combo tool as it is fairly laggy. In vanilla, however, you could combo out of up air a lot more easily, especially at lower percents. Up air into more up airs was a combo you could do pretty easily, but you could also do things like up air fair. A really savvy thing you could do at lower percents, however, was up air footstool. This did not work on everyone and it did require a read on Diddy's part, but on the characters it did work on, you could get some nasty guaranteed combos. That's basically 55% off 1 up air. Another thing I will note is that up air's faster startup also improved the move's combo potential, as you could land an up air from a much higher position than in the final game, which is extremely helpful for a vertical launching aerial. Remember that this completely whiffs in the final game. I will mention, however, is that while up air was a much better combo tool at lower percents, it was a worse combo tool at higher percents as it hits a lot harder than in later versions. But I'm just foreshadowing again. One more frame data related thing which was better about up air in earlier versions of the game was that it had a better auto cancel window. In vanilla, if you landed with up air during its first 2 frames, it would auto cancel. Up air does not auto cancel in this situation in the final game. The main thing, however, is that its late auto cancel window starts a lot earlier. In the final game, the late auto cancel starts on frame 27, but originally, it started on frame 15. That's 12 whole frames earlier. I could hit Mario with a falling up air and it could still auto cancel, which does also work due to up air's faster startup, but still, this had numerous effects. It meant you could auto cancel up air to make it a better combo move compared to landing late, you could auto cancel up air to make it safer on shield, and it made up air a lot better at frame trapping air dodging opponents. Things which auto-cancelled up air does not do better in the final game compared to landing late, but that's all the frame data related stuff. Up air had less ending lag, it had a much more lenient auto-cancel window, and it hit 1 frame faster, which made the move hit lower, which gave the move so much more utility I cannot even begin to describe. While that is all the frame data related stuff, there is still one very significant change to talk about. I mentioned earlier that up air deals 6% in the final game. Well, originally, it dealt 8%. That's a decent damage difference, but in addition to that, the move also dealt more knockback. In the final game, the move kills Mario on Final Destination at 215%, which is not very early at all. In vanilla, however, it kills Mario at 147%. You heard me right, 147%. That's nearly a 70% difference from the ground. And while the difference isn't as high in the air, you're still looking at around 40% earlier near the upper blast zone. So yeah, it was a little bit stronger. The move with full rage in the final game still kills noticeably later than in the vanilla version with no rage. Just thought I'd point that out. With up air being drastically stronger in vanilla, this naturally meant that it was a much better KO move, whether that was from raw KO power or as a KO confirm. Full hop up air was a thing Diddy could do and it was scary. This wasn't a kill confirm on the ground, but it could be a very strong 50-50 at the right percents. The opponent could either air dodge or they could wait and do another action such as jumping. And if they guessed wrong, they could have died very early. And on a high platform, it was a kill confirm. Diddy also had things like nair up air and down tilt up air as kill confirms. Things which don't really exist in the final game because up air is so much weaker. But those aren't the confirms you want me to talk about. I know what you really want me to talk about. Diddy's throw combos into up air. Diddy Kong's up and down throws are both amazing combo throws in Smash 4, being throws with minimal ending lag. They could both lead into follow-ups for a pretty long time in the final game, especially up throw. Originally, however, up throw dealt more damage and knockback while down throw dealt less knockback. Combine these things with Diddy's up air hitting way harder and... pain. Up air was a great follow-up out of these throws due to its speed and range, and it could indeed lead into KOs in the right situations. Let's start off with down throw up air, or as it was more well known as...
And there it is.
On Final Destination, this combo starts killing Mario around 105%, which is pretty alright, considering that this is a real kill confirm without DI. The keywords being without DI. While Hoo-Ha may have seemed like an extremely powerful tool, I mean it is the main thing people remember about vanilla Diddy, it had an Achilles heel and that was DI.
History.
If the opponent DI'd the down throw away, the opponent flew really far out, which made it really awkward to follow up into up air. Hoo-Ha with DI didn't kill Mario until over 115%, and the kicker is that this isn't even a kill confirm. The opponent can air dodge to avoid the up air. Hoo-Ha isn't even guaranteed with DI. You could catch the opponent air dodging, but in that case, Hoo-Ha doesn't even kill Mario at 130. And if you down throw near an edge, it's Jova. No Hoo-Ha for you at all with DI. This also applies to platforms too, even though they do boost up air's KO potential if you land it. So this is a bit of a surprise. Hoo-Ha is probably the most infamous thing Diddy had in vanilla, and here I am telling you that it wasn't that good. Down throw is overall slow enough to the point where a competent player could DI it on reaction if the opponent DIs. Then Hoo-Ha either won't work or it won't kill until pretty high percents. It's really good if the opponent doesn't DI it, and it's a nice 50-50 if they do DI it, but still. Hoo-Ha wasn't exactly extremely overpowered. But there's no need to worry because Diddy Kong had something that was much deadlier than Hoo-Ha, and that was up throw up air. Up throw up air didn't have a funny name as far as I know. But if I were to come up with a name for it, it would be the... Ooh-ah! Because that would have been your opponent's reaction if they got KO'd by this. Up throw was a lot stronger, which meant that it didn't actually combo into up air for as long as it does in the final game. While this does sound bad, this was balanced by up air being a lot stronger, which meant that this combo could kill you extremely early. On Final Destination, this combo kills Mario at 80%. 80%! This up air was completely guaranteed. Of course, this was without DI, but even with DI, Mario still dies under 90%. Holy heck! You can also do down tilt into a guaranteed grab to set up this kill confirm and kill even earlier.
My patience is waning.
Is this entertaining?
The KO confirm window isn't very big and the opponent can utilize DI to get out with the kill confirm window, but there are some things to note. First of all, DIing the up throw doesn't save you. Diddy does have to alter his trajectory when jumping, but regardless of how you DI, Diddy can still easily catch you regardless, which can't be said about down throw. DIing can even make up air combo in situations it wouldn't if you don't DI, so you really need to be careful with your DI. Secondly, Diddy can adjust his positioning to hit the up air either in front or from behind, which changes the direction the up air sends you. You could be trying to DI the up air away, but if Diddy hits you from the front, you will be sent in the opposite direction, resulting in you DIing the up air incorrectly and dying even earlier. Diddy can pretty much choose which direction he wants to hit you, and you essentially have to try and DI the right way. Diddy can make it ambiguous what direction the up air will send you, and if you don't DI it the right way,
You will die.
and DIing the up throw doesn't help much either. Diddy can still easily do this mix-up regardless of the opponent's DI and up throw. So Diddy not only essentially has a kill confirm out of up throw at really low percents, but he can even put the opponent into a guaranteed unreactable 50-50 DI mix-up, where the opponent dies if they guess wrong or even if they choose not to guess. And they still might die if they guess right depending on their percent. This 50-50 mix-up is essentially what makes the up throw up air a kill confirm, as you simply can't reliably DI the up air every time. Once up throw stops leading into a guaranteed up air, it leads into a nasty 50-50 for a little while. The opponent is forced to either air dodge immediately or wait more time until they can do something else, and if they guess wrong,
Die.
catching the opponent not air dodging is just an immediate death, but if Diddy Kong catches an air dodge, the up air still consistently kills Mario under 100%. This is the earliest up throw up air kills Mario on the top Battlefield platform in the final game without DI! Mario's weight is above average, by the way. Up throw does eventually stop leading to guaranteed 50-50s at high enough percents, but when that happens, you switch to using down throw. Hoo-ha may not be that broken, but if you down throw an opponent who might be expecting an up throw, you can catch their bad DI and then kill the hoo-ha. And even if they do DI the down throw correctly, they are still put into a 50-50 for a pretty considerable amount of time. Fun stuff. And I don't think I need to tell you that up throw up air is a completely guaranteed KO confirm on platforms and that it leads into KOs at very low percents. And I also don't think I need to tell you that with rage, up throw up air is completely ludicrous. Combine these two things together and...
my patience is waning.
Is this entertaining?
And that was everything that was different about Diddy's up air in earlier versions of Smash 4. It was absolutely insane overall, especially in the vanilla Wii U version. It came out faster, which made it hit lower, making it easier to land and giving it more utility. It had less ending lag, making it a better combo tool. It had a much more generous auto-cancel window, which could be utilized to make up air more effective. And it hit way, way harder. The only real weakness the move had is that it had fairly high landing lag, which did make it fairly punishable, but even then, you could work around that weakness with auto-canceling against the majority of the cast. Up air was an absolutely incredible move due to its speed, range, and power. It just did so much and it just hit so hard. But the move is no longer like that. It's slower, it has less range, and it is much weaker, so how did we get here? Let's find out. On paper, up air is exactly the same in both the vanilla 3DS and Wii U versions, and so are up throw and down throw for that matter. Despite this, throughout this entire video, I have been exclusively talking about up air in the context of the vanilla Wii U version. So why is that? I thought you said up air was the same on vanilla 3DS, so surely it would be just as busted, right?
Good guess, but actually no.
It is true that Diddy Kong's up air and throws are exactly the same in the vanilla 3DS version, but there is a mechanical difference which affects all of these moves. In the vanilla 3DS version, you could LSI vertical launching moves, or vector as it was known as back in the day, which made KO moves weaker and combo moves more avoidable. Guess what moves this affected? Up air in the vanilla Wii U version kills at around 165% with optimal DI in Battlefield on the ground. In the vanilla 3DS version, however, it doesn't kill until over 180% due to the LSI differences. That's quite a difference. Up air is a pretty fast move, so you can't really DI a raw up air on reaction, but you can certainly DI an up air if Diddy is comboing into it. This different LSI system also affected Diddy's throws, and since they are one of the main ways to lead into an up air,
That's no good.
Diddy is going to throw me and I'm simply going to hold down. I lived at 110% and I didn't even optimally DI. But holding straight down completely ignores that DI mix-up I talked about earlier. This kills under 90% normally, and if I LSI'd up instead, I'd go so high that Diddy can't even get the 50-50 on me. And up air kill confirm was pretty much always avoidable in vanilla 3DS. You could either LSI down to live longer, or you could LSI up to get out of the combo sooner. Whichever one was preferable depended on your percent, but when this was mastered, up air should have never led into kill confirms or even 50-50s into kills, since up throw can be DI'd on reaction. Up air was still a combo Diddy could do, but the window to do it was tighter and it could not lead to KO confirms against a strong opponent. The only time it might have been a kill confirm is on a high platform, but even then, it wouldn't be killing anywhere near as early as on Wii U due to LSI. The different LSI system also affects down throw, although you still typically want to DI it away. Hoo-ha was already avoidable on Wii U as a true kill confirm, and on vanilla 3DS it was even more avoidable, with the 50-50 being a lot weaker due to up air killing 15+% later with DI. You could utilise LSI in the down throw itself to avoid the hoo-ha, although this wasn't a necessity. And that is why I was talking about up air exclusively in the context of the Wii U version, because while everything I talked about combo-wise is still technically a thing in the vanilla 3DS version, it had additional counterplay which made it considerably less effective. The opponent could live up air for longer and they could avoid Diddy's up air KO confirms with DI. The ability to LSI vertical launching moves was removed in 1.0.4 and 3DS and all Wii U versions, and this was great for Diddy. His up air became a more consistent combo and KO move, and his setups into up air became much more consistent and much more deadly. This alone pushed Diddy into a top 2 spot along with Sheik, which I wouldn't say was the case on vanilla 3DS. But with this up air being completely overtuned in the vanilla Wii U version, it would soon receive nerfs. In version 1.0.6, up air's damage was reduced from 8% to 6%. This reduced the move's knockback quite a bit, with the move killing over 40% later from the ground, which is quite a big difference. The lower knockback did make up air combo for longer, but I'd say this was completely overshadowed by up air being so much weaker. Up throw was made weaker while down throw was made stronger. Hoo-ha was basically gone and it was already a DI dependent setup. Up throw up air still worked due to up throw being weaker, although it didn't start killing until a lot later on 110% on Mario, 30% later than in earlier Wii U versions. While up air was made weaker, its frame data was still the same, so you still had the crazy frame-free hitbox, the lower ending lag, and the auto-cancelling. That all changed in 1.0.8 however. This version gave us the up air we have today. The move became 1 frame slower, removing its downwards hitting hitbox. It received more ending lag, its auto-cancel window became a lot worse, and its knockback was cut down even more. Down throw was made significantly stronger, which made hoo-ha a complete thing of the past, while up throw became a tiny bit weaker. The lower knockback on up air was enough to remove up air as a kill confirm unless platforms are involved. And this is how it's been in Smash 4 ever since. Overall, Diddy Kong's up air went from being one of the most broken moves in the game to simply a pretty good move. The move was originally extremely fast, its range was amazing, it was a great combo tool, and it was a devastating KO move. Especially since Diddy Kong had such powerful confirms and 50-50s into it, at least on Wii U. Now, however, it's slower, it has less range in a way that reduces its utility, its combo potential is more limited, and is a much weaker KO move. It is a solid and useful move, but it isn't a particularly scary move. Originally, however, up air had significantly more utility, and in the vanilla Wii U version especially, the move was absolutely terrifying to get hit by. You did not want to get hit by an up air, but it was really easy to get hit by an up air. And if Diddy did successfully hit you with an up air and your percent was high enough, you were either close to being dead or you were just dead. Especially since Diddy's throws were also much scarier back then. You feared Diddy's up air and there was always a constant threat waiting to get its chance to mess you up. And those kinds of moves are the best moves in Smash games. Up air pretty much went from a 10 out of 10 move to a 7 out of 10 move. The difference between Diddy's original up air and his up air in later versions of the game is just so astronomically large that I had to make a 20+ minute video explaining why that was. Sorry, I didn't mean for this to be this long. This is probably one of the top 3 most nerfed moves in Smash 4 history. The other 2 moves I would put on this list are Peach's Vegetable, because her turnips could literally break the rules of the game in multiple ways originally, which were quickly removed, and Bayonetta's Downwards Afterburner Kick, which went from an incredible combo tool which can kill you at 0%, to a very situational move which cannot combo in most scenarios. She was still the best character in the game after they did that, by the way.
Thanks for watching,
guys.
Just smash the like button, comment and subscribe.